Welcome back to another episode. Today I'm gonna review Pirates of the Caribbean for the Microsoft Xbox. And let's go! Pirates of the Caribbean is an open-world role-playing game, and it was developed by a Russian company called Arcella and also by Bethesda Softworks. It was published by Ubisoft and released in 2003 for the PC and the Microsoft Xbox. This is the German version of the game, so every gameplay footage will be in the German language. In this game you play a young English captain named Nathaniel Hawke, who arrives on an island named Ox Bay to sell some of his goods and also to repair a ship because it got damaged in a storm earlier. Your first mate Malcolm Hatcher will guide you through a tutorial, which you can skip if you want. He will show you how to fight with a saber and a pistol. He can help you with your first level up by explaining every of your 10 talents. And on shore he can also help you with the first steps in the game. Where to sell your goods or hire men for your crew and so on.
Ja, was kann ich für euch tun?
After you finish the tutorial or skipped it, Malcolm tells you that he's gonna retire and leave your crew, which means that you also should try to find a replacement for him. And what better place to find a new officer for your ship than the local tavern. In taverns you can hire new men for your crew, rent a room for the night, or to wait until it's dark because some things will only happen at night. You can also play dice for money. Then in every tavern there's also a guy that you can talk to if you have some smuggled goods. And most of the times you will also find an officer that you can hire if you have enough money. Beside the taverns there are also other important buildings in the towns. Like the shipyard, where you can buy, sell and repair your ship, or upgrade your ship with better cannons or culverines.
Alles, was ihr da seht, könnt ihr kaufen.
In the shop you can buy and sell goods and ammunition for your ship, and also items and weapons for yourself and your officers. You can also buy and sell items and weapons at traders, which you can find in towns or at the harbors. Depending on the town there can be also other buildings which are more or less useful, like a church or a prison, a town hall where you can talk to the local governor, a loan shark, or a dungeon where you can seek for treasures. But be careful, those dungeons are full of undead pirates which aren't pleased about having visitors. And there are also some normal houses. Beside the towns there are also other places on the islands that you can explore alone or with your officers, like beaches, jungles or caverns. After the first time you set sail, the main story begins. Ox Bay, which is an English colony, gets attacked and captured by the French, and your ship was the only one that could escape. Now your first mission is to sail to Redmond, which is also an English colony, and tell the local governor what happened. He is shocked and very upset about the news, and his first action is going to be confiscating your ship for the English crown, since the French declared war and it looks like they have a bigger fleet. Thankfully, he will change his mind and he's going to make you a privateer with a new mission: sneak into Oxbay and spy on the French. Now you can decide whatever you want to do in this game. Since it's an open world RPG, you can continue the main storyline, play as a privateer, become a trader or a smuggler, or become a pirate. I would recommend to do some leveling before you continue with the main storyline, and also to make some money to buy better items, hire some officers, and maybe even get a better ship. There are a total of 16 different ships available to buy in this game, which are divided into 7 different classes. A battleship, for instance, is a class 1 ship, and a Tartane is a class 7 cargo ship without any weapons. Your first ship is a class 6 logger, named Victory. You can change the name of your ship at any time during the game. A logger is a very fast ship, but it's lightly armed. It doesn't have much cargo space and also only a small amount of crew members to hold. But it's still a very good ship for the beginning. The best way to get experience is by attacking and destroying or boarding ships. Depending on the class of the ship, you get more or less experience points. For example, if you destroy a class 4 ship with your class 6 logger, you get a lot of experience points. If it is the other way around, then you only get a small amount of experience points, since a class 4 ship is mightier than a class 6 ship. After reaching a certain amount of experience points, you gain a level. With every level you get 5 more hit points, 2 points to increase 1 or 2 of your talents, and 1 ability point. And with this you can activate one of 35 abilities. Those abilities will improve your character in many different ways. Some will improve the hand-to-hand combat, some the damage that you will make on enemy ships, faster loading times for your cannons, boarding can be improved, you can make better trades, and you can also get some special abilities. There is one ability which is very important, and you should pick that one first. It's called Shared Experience. With this ability, your officers will also get experience points and gain levels, which will make them also more powerful characters. Shops and traders will also sell some better weapons and spy classes after your character gains some levels. On sea you have 2 different views, a world map view and a real-time action view. On the world map you see almost everything that happens around you. You see all the ships in the proximity, gathering storms which you should avoid, and also the nearby islands. So you're gonna use this view to sail from island to island and also to search for enemies or victims, depending on how you play the game. But you never know how strong the enemy is gonna be and how many ships you will encounter until the game changes into the action view. On the bottom right you have a compass, and on the top right you have a date display and a little picture that tells you if it's day or night. In the world map view, time flies pretty fast, and sooner or later you have to pay your crew. So always make sure that you have some money left when you leave the harbor, since it could happen that if you don't pay your crew, they will mutiny. And if that happens, the game is over. You can always change from the world map view to the action view, but the game changes the view automatically when you get into a storm or when you get attacked. In the action view, you can decide between a third-person perspective and a first-person perspective. In the third-person perspective, you steer your ship, change the speed like no sail, half sail and full sail, and you can also give the order to fire. In the first-person perspective, you can walk around on your ship, use a spyglass to check the enemy's ship, which depends on what spyglass you have. The better the spyglass, the more information you get. Which nation or fraction, the name of the ship, what ship class, status of the hull, the sails and the crew, and so on. In the first-person perspective, you can also aim the cannons yourself, which I would recommend using a lot, at least in the beginning of the game, since the crew does not aim that well. Only if you or one of your officers has at least 5 points on the precision talent, then your crew makes some decent hits on the enemy. Speaking of cannons, there are 4 kinds of ammunitions that you can use in a sea battle. The normal cannonballs have the longest range, and it's the standard ammunition to damage the hull. The chain balls are used to damage the sails of the enemy's ship to decrease their speed and maneuverability. They have a medium range and make no damage on the hull. You can also use them to decrease the enemy's crew. The bombs have a medium range and they make the most damage on the hull, sail and the crew. The canisters have a very low range and you're only gonna use them to decrease the enemy crew before the boarding. On the bottom left you have a little picture of your ship, and above you have 3 status indicators. The red one stands for the hull, the blue one for your crew and the white one for your sails. On the top right you have a minimap, which is also a little, let's call it radar screen. It shows you the wind direction, the range of your cannons depending on the ammunition, and also the ships in the proximity and their heading. Around the minimap you have the status of your cannons. You see the current ammunition, the wind speed and your current speed. By pushing the X button you can speed up the game a little bit to decrease the reloading times, for instance. In this game you have 3 different menus. With the start button you bring up the main menu, where you can change options like the audio, start a new game, load a game or save a game. With the B button you bring up the character menu. This menu is full of information about your character and your officers, with all the talents and abilities, the status of your ship, crew, ammunition and the cargo if you have some. A quest log which shows you all the active and finished quests, a trading book which shows you all the imports and exports of the different islands and also which goods can be smuggled. And you can also check your current relationship status with all the nations/fractions. With the Y button you bring up the command menu, and there are 3 kinds of those. One for sailing, one for walking around on shore, and the last one for hand-to-hand combat. On shore you have a quick travel function for the main buildings, which will only work in towns or harbors. You can also talk to every person, but you have to stand right in front of them. And you can also exchange items with your officers. And when you find something interesting, like items, gold or chest, either picking it up or open it and take a look inside. In a hand-to-hand combat, the command menu gives you the option to use an item like a healing potion or use a special ability if you have one. On C, but only during the action view. The command menu allows you to change the ammunition of the cannons, use a special ability, again only if you have one, set the speed of the ship and go to the world map. There is also a quick travel function on C which can bring you right next to a ship as long as there are any ships in the proximity, and it is also the same thing when you're close to an island. Just choose one of the places, drop the anchor and go on shore. Like the option drop the anchor, there are also some other options that will only come up when you are very close to another ship, like boarding. Okay, a few things about boarding. In the beginning of the game, boarding can be difficult and very risky, since you have to be very close and side by side with the enemy ship, which means that you're gonna be an easy target. But when you manage it, the game changes to a hand-to-hand combat on deck, and you and your officers fight against the enemy's crew. If you don't have any officers, then members of your crew will fight on your side instead. Depending on the size of the enemy's crew, you're not only gonna fight on deck, you're also gonna fight below deck. After you defeated the enemy, you can decide what you wanna do with the ship. You can swap it against your old ship, pillage the cargo and sink it, or you assign one of your officers on it and have two ships. Either start with your own fleet or sell it on the next island to get a nice lot of money. One thing that I also wanted to mention about the officers is that you can set them on duty or off duty, which means when they're on duty they will accompany you on shore and support you in every fight, and of course also during the boarding. Plus, every talent of your officer that is higher than on your character will improve your ship and your crew. When they are off duty, they become passengers and they can't help you in any fights or with any of their talents. But they also can't get killed during a boarding, for instance. So after a boarding you would have at least an officer left to assign to a ship. Besides ships, you can also attack forts, which are protecting every big town on the islands. But for those you need a big ship with lots of cannons, a big crew and a good build-up character. The graphics in Pirates of the Caribbean are very good. The lighting, the reflections on the water and all the weather effects, everything looks beautiful. The music and the sound effects are also very good, and yeah, they add a lot to the atmosphere. The controls are good, and I would say for this kind of a game they kept them pretty simple. For example, in a hand-to-hand combat, with the A button you attack, with the left shoulder button you block, and with the B button you dodge. And with the right shoulder button you fire your pistol. The main storyline is not mind-blowing in this game, but it's still good in my opinion. Beside the main storyline, there are also a couple of side quests, and in those you can get some special items, or let's say weapons, and yeah, more money. Now about the difficulty level. I've read a couple of commentaries in the internet, and some people said that the game has an easy difficulty level, and others would say that the difficulty level of this game is very hard. I personally would say that it has a medium difficulty level. I mean, with a little practice and luck, you can accomplish a lot in a short time. And yeah, that can give you the feeling that the game is easy. But the game can also be very frustrating sometimes, especially because you can't save the game on sea. And to me, it actually happened a lot of times that I fought against a couple of ships and I destroyed all of them except for the last one, which I tried to board. And yeah, then something happens. My ship gets blown to pieces before I even get close enough, or my officers die during the boarding, which means that I can't sell the ship afterwards. Instead, I have to sink it. Or my character dies during the hand-to-hand combat. And yeah, if this happens 2 or 3 times in a row, then it's no wonder that you get the feeling that the game is very hard or maybe even unfair. But again, I would say that it has a medium difficulty level. Now I guess a lot of you have one major question on your mind. Has this game anything to do with the movie? And the answer is almost nothing. The only things that will remind you of the movie are Undead Pirates and the Black Pearl. Yes, the Black Pearl is in the game, but that's it. The original title of this game was Sea Dogs 2, a sequel of Sea Dogs 1, a PC game that was developed by Arcala and published by Bethesda Softworks. And yeah, it was released in the year 2000, and Sea Dogs 1 was highly influenced by a very big hit, Sid Meier's Pirates, an action-adventure strategy game that was developed and published by Microprose in the year 1987. And yeah, it was first released for the Commodore 64, and later on they released it to almost every other console or system at the time. They released it on the PC, on the Amstrad, the Apple II, the Commodore Amiga, and they even released a version on the NES. And in 1993, Microprose released a remastered version because of the success of the game, and it was called Pirates Gold, and they released the game on the PC, on the Macintosh computers, on the Sega Genesis, and also on the Amiga CD32. And in the year 2004, Firaxis and 2K Games released a remake called Sid Meier's Pirates Lived Alive, and they released this game on the on the PC, or let's say for Microsoft Windows, for the Microsoft Xbox, for the Nintendo Wii, and the Sony PSP. And yeah, the only reason why this game is called Pirates of the Caribbean, or why they got the license from Disney, yeah, it was more or less coincidence, or you could say it was a marketing gag. Arcala, back then Arcala and Bethesda had almost completed the game, and Disney wanted a game for the movie. And since the game has the same theme or setting, yeah, Bethesda and Ubisoft got the license from Disney. They changed the title, some minor things in the main storyline, and they actually released the game the same day the first movie hit the theaters. So the game has the license of the movie, but it's not based on the movie. And yeah, I'm gonna be honest, the game is not perfect. There are some slowdowns and a couple of bugs in the game. There are also some things that I would have loved that they didn't left out, or better say that they I would love to have in this game. And number one is that you could create your own character, give him your own name, and yeah, change the looks of the character. Then also another thing is that in Sea Dogs 1 you could play a campaign for every nation or every faction. And in this game you only have the main storyline and some side quests. The main storyline is, like I said, it's not bad at all, and it's actually pretty long. I mean, some people say it will take you about 30 hours to complete it, others will say that it will take you 40 hours to complete the game. Let's say it would take you 35 hours to complete the game, but it actually depends on how you play this game. If you're just interested in the main storyline, then yeah, maybe it's not that long, and if you do some search for treasures and level up your character, then it will take you longer. And yeah, one other thing that would have also been cool in this game is that you have a lot of weapons in this game, and yeah, of course also the portions, but potions, not potions. But the rest of the items that you can find in this game you can only use to sell and get some more money. And it would have been also cool if you could find some other clothes or maybe some armor, but yeah, that's not in the game. And yeah, in the end, like I said, it's not perfect, but I personally love this game. It's really cool and I would really recommend it to every video gamer, but I know that not everybody will like this game, let's call it like that. And yeah, a couple of words about the PC version. I never played the PC version, but again, I watched some videos on the internet and I also read a little bit about it in the internet. And yeah, the PC version is almost identical to the Xbox version. The graphics are slightly better, but the controls are, at least I read in the internet that the controls are not that good on the PC. Yeah, since the game was actually developed for the Xbox first and then ported to the PC, so this is the reason why the controls are not perfect on the PC. But I also read that you can reconfigure the controls completely, so yeah, this shouldn't be such a drawback in the end. And one other cool thing about the PC version is that there is one, or maybe there are two patches or mods that are available for the PC version, and with those in those they fixed some bugs in the game, and they got some extra content and new side quests and a couple of other stuff in those patches or mods. And as far as I know, fans made those, but I'm not 100% sure, so I guess I could also recommend the game also on the PC. Okay, but in the end, this was my review of Pirates of the Caribbean for the Microsoft Xbox. I hope you enjoyed the show. Maybe see you next time. Take care. Bye!